I mean, welcome everybody to this emergency stream in the middle of the night after Saturday Night Hypnosis, where we're usually too fucking tired to speak or to continue talking. But since this is unprecedented historical stuff that is happening right in front of our eyes, we thought, hey guys, we give you another round of our opinion, of our takes, of our memes, and of our perspective on this. I mean, it's too good to be true in a way. And of course, with all the maturity of the occasion, this is what we do, right? We're covering news, we're talking about current stuff. And since this is happening and falling right in front of our eyes, Dragon Slayer and I thought, hey, fuck it. Let's continue just talking about it. Hi, man.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, let's just keep doing this shit, guys. It's all good. You know, we might as well keep talking about the shooting, because that thing was insane. I don't know, just shocking.
What the fuck is going on right now? I mean, what is this?
I don't know, but dude, guess what? We got some breaking new footage apparently that shows somebody in the crowd apparently spotting the shooter. I'll send you the link in the private chat so you can see it and share with everyone. But
Right.
yeah, apparently, it was a thing. Yeah, it's wow. Yeah, apparently somebody did
Really?
see the shooter. Mm-hmm.
Is this?
It is really. You
let's
can hear the
cover this.
gunshots closer too, and everything. Oh wow!
What is this?
I know.
What is happening right now? So apparently this is someone from the crowd.
Yeah. So these are people in the crowd, I guess, in the outside. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, this is yeah. So these are people that are outside, that are probably like on the outskirts of the speech. They're probably just chilling out there, and then somebody notices the shooter on that barn that we were talking about, and well,
Right.
they're like gun, and that's when the guy, I guess, begins shooting. I think the guy probably missed his shot because of that. I think if we look at it that way, and now it makes sense, because people couldn't put two and two together of why the guy was not able to do what people call like the shot itself. Like it only hit his ear. It's because he probably got spooked when somebody yelled that they spotted him, and he, in a panic, shot the wrong way and then just kept shooting more, hoping some of the bullets would catch Trump. Like this makes a lot of sense.
Where are we? What is it happening? Is this real? I mean, it's like seriously, is this actually real? Is this really happening?
Yeah, it really is happening, Coach. I mean, I hate to admit it to you, but it is happening. What else do you want me to say? It's incredible. It's like my parents said. Like, this is fucking Mexico right now. All of a sudden, it is, dude. Tell me I am wrong, please. This is like Mexico or Sicily back in the day, you know, when
True.
nobody questioned
True,
the dawns,
dude.
and if you did, you ended up, missing or dead.
Dude, you're saying something there. So this is allegedly from. Three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7.
Yeah.
How many shots are we hearing? Are we getting here? 1, 2, 3. This is the
Wait,
first one.
go back to the beginning. Yeah, I think it was 3 at the beginning. That's like what, 4 or 5?
Well, no, this is the fast one afterwards, but this is the first.
Well, it was 3 shots. Wait, no, go to the very beginning, because I think we were.
Right. Here it is.
Yeah.
These are the
Yeah.
first 3.
Yeah.
And then we have another 5.
Yeah, so it was around 8 shots, so it's close to what people said, 8 to 10 shots. And then the guy stopped. Ah, okay, yeah.
Is this something that in your mind is this really, what is your theory about this? Is this a one loony shooter like they always claim? Is this someone who planned this? Is there any other thing that you see also of a narrative that could be associated to this? What are your honest thoughts on this?
Well, a loony shooter. I don't think it's a loony shooter, honestly. Maybe this kind of person, like if you were a loony shooter, usually you would do your act would be something more, I guess, more big in terms of grandeur. You know, they would try to make it very big in public, similar to like the Ronald Reagan assassination attempt. You know, that would be a loony situation with the Ronald Reagan assassination attempt. But this person obviously wanted to just get the job done and leave. Obviously, that did not happen. The person ended up, dead. But I feel like this person came with some purpose. Maybe I hate to say this, but like at this point, fuck if I know. This could have been a terrorist idea, like maybe the guy knew he probably would not make it out of it alive. If you shoot a presidential candidate, even if you like hit your target, chances are you're probably going to get sniped by the Secret Service people. So I don't know. I don't think this guy was a loony, but at the same time, I don't think this was a professional either. I think this was just probably a activist or zealot that really did not want to, that just thought, hey, if I get up there, I will be able to like end the devil's reign or something. Probably thinks of Trump that way. I don't know. That's my opinion on that.
I mean, so as far as we can tell, there's only one person that got killed, and that is the alleged shooter itself, right? And then one was badly injured. But so far,
there was one dead bystander.
Who died?
Yeah. So there was a woman, I think, in the stage. So 2 were critically injured, and 1 died on the spot because they just got caught in the crossfire. So it was a woman. But yeah, they are. It is kind of crazy. I think the only reason that happened is because the shooter got spooked, as we saw in the video, and he just started shooting blindly.
Up, Dragon.
What?
You're breaking up a little bit. Can you hear me well?
I am. I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Is it good now?
Flickering.
Are we good now? Hold on. Is it better now? Okay. I don't know. That's
sort of
being weird. What?
Right, maybe it's StreamYard.
Hold on.
Maybe they're pressing or something.
Okay, can you hear me better now? Is it good now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
This is better.
There we go. Okay. No, it's all good. It's all good. No, yeah. So it definitely was. I would say this is the work of a lone zealot. I think sometimes I feel like people want to add more deeper connections to what is being said, but honestly, in this case, I feel like it's a zealot. Let me be honest, and it's not like this is not new. Okay, this has happened throughout all of history. There's always, when there's great change coming, there's always that group of zealots that will go beyond the usual methods in order to enact their will, and usually they involve themselves with extreme violence. And if you want a great example of that, just look at the Jewish zealots when the Roman Empire invaded Jerusalem.
Absolutely.
They literally hold themselves up in a fortress for months. So this isn't new. So it's just that in our modern day, especially in America, people, I would say, are not as exposed to political zealots. Like, they know about them from the internet and what they say. Oh, there we go. See? So, yeah, this is interesting. So, a lot of people said this guy was a member of Antifa. And I don't know. Maybe he was.
I don't know,
maybe
man.
he isn't.
I just got to...
yeah.
I mean, Emily's dismantling the Delulus? Emily's dismantling delusionals, maybe it's that. Very cool.
Pretty cool
profile
name, but yeah.
They said this guy, They said this guy was a member of Antifa, allegedly. Is it true? I don't know. But how did this guy get so close? And Biden allegedly said today is the day to put Trump on the target. Yeah, you got that. You got that tweet that we showed on Saturday night, because I got a lot of heat today on Saturday Night Hypnosis, because they kind of just speculated, right? Maybe Dragon Slayer and I, we're always kind of searching for the rabbit holes, and we're speculative guys who love to analyze stuff a bit more deeply, and we go in all directions. And we know from history, because we're history buffs, that usually to kind of get to the bottom of a crime, you always have to look for the one who is really profiting from any crime, right? Where does the trail of money lead you to? And I was just speculating. Again, I was not endorsing anything here, and I've never voted in my life. But I'm just, I can tell you this: if
they went after your ass so hard, Coach.
Right.
Like I never, I was like, Jesus,
but
Christ,
it's okay.
guys, just chill. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's awesome when we get that kind of discourse. And by
but
the
I was
way, Coach,
asking exactly this question. I'm not a specialist or any type of super informed, but to me, there is a former president who comes into a town, and 300 yards from the place where he speaks, there is an open field with a perfect, point blank rooftop that, any potential threat would choose immediately in order to kind of, so how is it possible that these very experienced guys from the military, from the CIA, from the Secret Service, are not taking care of all the rooftops that could potentially, serve as a platform for that? That was my first question. And I still don't see the logic there that they wouldn't take care of that. And here, someone says here in the comments, no way Secret Service didn't see the gunman the entire time.
Well, this is thing, Coach, right? I sent you another link in the chat, in the private chat.
Right.
It's the latest. Yeah, it's the one at the very bottom. So this one, I think, it's actually connected to your original question that you were mentioning a few seconds ago. So this one.
Let's check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
So the guy here goes, how did the shooter even get on the roof? This guy says he's been at several events for Trump, and there is no way you can get anything going that close to him. And he said he measured it on ONX, which I guess is it's like a software that lets you analyze these distances and such on the map. And he's measured it on ONX as 150.1 yards from basically where the guy shot Trump to where Trump was at. So 150.1 yards. So the question is, right? If do you have
weird.
it?
It doesn't open it up. I mean, it's weird.
Let me share my screen, I guess. I don't know what's going on with this. All right, there it is.
Man. Very interesting.
Perfect. Yeah. So the guy was showing these pictures right here, right? So this is the calculation, right? Secret Service shooter. Okay. And then he decides this is the rally. Okay. And the interesting part is you can actually see a bullet whiz by him, okay, in the still shots. So it's obvious enough
insane.
That
what kind of picture is that? That is fucking insane.
It was maybe it was just that frame, And people don't seem to understand this. So bullets in real life, they're not like movie bullets in the sense that in movies, they always make you think that, when somebody shoots, when you hear the sound effect of the gun going off, then that's when the bullet hits you, right? In real life, it's more like you hear the shot, but you hear like a few seconds by the time you hear the shot, the bullet's already whizzed past you, right? You probably hear the bullet first before you hear the shot, especially if you're that far away. And Trump here is speaking in a very big crowd. He is talking to thousands of people, all making noise, and his microphone is making noise. He's trying to focus. He's got a cap on. Obviously, he's not thinking about being worried about getting attacked, so to speak, right? And so that would make it this would make somebody like him an easy target for a well-placed, experienced sniper, which obviously, like I told you, this guy could not possibly be, because that would require you to be a professional with lots of years of military experience, okay? And you would need a very high-powered rifle, okay, in order to be able to properly ensure the kill and to make sure that the bullet reaches its mark appropriately. There's a reason why very good sniper rifles being held by a professional are always able to find their target. Okay, it's a mix of equipment and also the one using it. So obviously that's why I always say this guy must have been the political equivalent of a religious zealot. Okay, this is probably somebody that will claim he was for Antifa, but then you find out, oh no, this guy is maybe for like some anti-Semitic group of God knows what. And then you end up finding out that this guy is just some crazy anarchist who took the Joker way too fucking seriously and thought, well, everything is in shambles, might as well cause more chaos. We don't know. Here's the thing. Well, all I'm throwing out here and everything me and Coach are talking about, and just as we talked on SNH, the disclaimer is we have absolutely no complete idea, so to speak, of all the facts, because this just literally happened today and people are still scrambling to find as much truth as possible. So all we're coming up with right now is our suppositions in order to maybe come up with a decent answer. And if it turns out to be the true answer, great. If not, then at least when we get the actual answer, it'll be easier for us to put some logic behind it, because we looked at all the different fields. But again, like I'm saying, this guy is not a professional, and this guy is not some activist. This is just a zealot that was very bad at shooting. He got spooked by people spotting him, and when he heard them yell, "He has a gun," okay, the guy tried to quickly shoot Trump, even though his aim was completely off. Then what happens is he tried to shoot him again, right? And that one hits his ear. And then that's when he goes down, okay? Because he rapidly shot the first two shots, okay? The third one was a little bit more delayed, and then afterwards he just sprayed and prayed that he would get him when he went down, because at that point he probably had a adrenaline pumping, and he probably had also a mini nervous breakdown. He probably couldn't properly coordinate himself, and he started spraying, and as a result, 2 people got grievously wounded, and 1 sadly got killed. And that's honestly what I think happened in terms of like the whole situation. In terms of the Secret Service,
you're breaking up again a little bit, my friend. What the fuck, man? I'm sorry, man.
Okay, can you hear me now?
You're getting further and further.
Can you hear me now?
Turning everything off.
Okay, can you hear me now?
This is good. No, that's good. Yeah, let's hope it's stable. Okay. I mean, the quality is good, but it just breaks up.
Okay, yeah, I don't know, but no, yeah, that's what I think, Coach. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, sure. On one hand, I feel like we are, watching, like, this is so crazy because the other day we've covered, Back to the Future in our double episode on 3 Sages, and we talked about all the future crazy events that this movie somehow predicted, coincidentally or by design, and how crazy it is that this is almost like a movie, because like it looked forward into the future, predicted many things, kind of according to the data that we collected, and now we're seeing this movie like truly evolving in front of our eyes, right, and kind of rolling out. And so therefore sometimes the lines are getting blurry between what's fantasy and what's real and what's happening and not. And I mean in the history of the United States and also other countries, not only the United States, there always have been attempts on the presidents, and it's and it's always somehow we always get presented this lonely shooter narrative, right? Whether there was Reagan, whether there was FK, whether there was Bob Kennedy, we always get this narrative. We always get told, yeah, this is a lonely guy, it's a zealot, it's a fanatic, it's an extremist, it's Antifa, it's this, it's the mafia, whatever. And I don't know, man. I always have problems like catching up with these lonely shooter theories because, first of all, the shooters are conveniently. I'm sorry, saying that it sounds a bit like it does, but conveniently in this case, they're always dead immediately after the event, so we can't really ask them shit like Oswald and all the others. They died pretty quickly, and all of these shooters, most of them also, of course, claim that they were not the actual killers, that they were kind of put into this position, whatnot. And we have no chance to ask this person questions, and we're just left with this narrative. We are left with this movie, and probably like in so many cases, you remember JFK by Oliver Stone? They said, if you leave them more than 3 hours to cover up their tracks, you probably will never get the truth out, right? Because you have to do it right now. Immediately afterwards, you have to stop everything in order to impede that, someone is covering up the tracks. And so therefore, I'm afraid we will never know the truth, even though this just happened a couple of hours ago.
We got... We have a live stream that Fox News is showing of basically people asking about the assassination attempt. Here's the link, by the way. Yeah. Like, it's a literal press conference that's happening right now.
Oh, wow, crazy. Let's jump in. Let's do this. This is Fox News? Okay.
Yes. They're literally asking about, like, I guess their methods or whatever. Like, it's literally happening right now. He's answering it.
Oh, that's cool. All right.
Yeah. Literally, we can react live to this, to their thoughts. Yeah. So.
Is this here?
Yeah, it's supposed to pop up. Okay. Well, here, I'll share it on my screen, I guess. Yeah.
Otherwise, you can share it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good, buddy. There you go.
It's live.
To move safely in the area. We're still working on, it's still an active crime scene, so I'm not going to say that the scene is 100% clear at this time.
Why are there any Secret Service agents here right now for this press conference?
The Secret Service wasn't available for the press conference at this time.
How fucking convenient for you.
Yes.
How convenient.
How is this possible,
Really, anything.
man? What is going on?
I don't have specifics on what they were looking at, but there's people in the crowd will leave bags as they're fleeing the scene like this. So any suspicious packages we have to treat as it may be an explosive device.
And how quickly, this was a Secret Service, like I'm going to talk about it, yes, but when you guys jumped into action, all the law enforcement and bring them to take down the shooters, how quickly did everybody jump in and who ended up taking them out?
Good question.
So it was immediate, and we're still trying to figure that out. So we'll wait till we have more definitive information regarding that investigatively.
What about the person in the crowd? Do you have any information about how they were killed?
My understanding was it was from the shooter, but again, those will be details that are released later.
Yeah, we knew it was the shooter. Come on.
Is a part of your method of identifying the
Yeah.
individual?
So if that's where the leads take us, absolutely.
Was Donald Trump hit with a bullet, do you know for sure, or was it potentially something else that could have?
I don't have that specific information
What
as
did she
far
ask?
as the injuries. to the
If
former
Donald
president.
Trump was really shot with a bullet in the ear, and I'm like, yes.
know this person known to you guys? Is he somebody that you guys have been looking at, your threats he's possibly made online, et cetera, et cetera?
Again, the information that we currently have, we're looking at that obviously very intently, and as we know that information, we'll release that as well. So we'll need to plan another time for a follow-up press conference. We're looking at all investigative leads and everything from, and that's why we asked the public, because I'm sure there'll be cell phone video, there'll be all kinds of information that we'll use to fully flesh out exactly what happened here.
I know you're saying you can't
what type of gun it is, but do you know how many shots were fired?
I don't.
And
I don't have that information as far as, that'll come out in the investigation as well.
It'll be 8 through 10. Just watch.
Tonight on the other victims.
Just watch.
As far as the civilians, the
Civilians that were injured and killed.
yeah.
So we do have identification on those. We're not prepared to release it at this time. We have notified a number of family members, but they have not had an opportunity to notify extended family and things. I would confirm for you that we did have one individual killed, and I know I heard somebody say about 2 victims. There were 3 in total besides the former president. So 2 critically wounded, 1 killed.
Oh, okay.
They were sitting near each other and where in relation to the former president?
I don't have their exact seating by individual. Again, that'll all be part of the investigation, but their shots were scattered somewhat, and so they weren't just into one particular
Well, yeah, he was
location.
spooked. It's literally, the other clip shows it.
Yes,
The shooter, one thing.
the shooter plus 1 fatality. So there was 1 victim of the shooter who was killed, and then the shooter was killed.
then 2 in critical.
Yes, ma'am.
Witnesses say they saw a semi-automatic rifle used by the shooter. Can you share any details of that's what?
I've heard those reports as well, and again, we do have a good idea of what the weapon was, but again, that's all part of the ongoing investigation. And I'm not trying to be
Definitely
cagey
wasn't a
about that.
semi-automatic weapon.
You know, when the SAC talked about the need to be very methodical and to be cautious with that scene, we are doing just that. We don't want anybody else getting hurt, and candidly, there are some concerns that we'll be able to talk more about later on about just what those concerns are and continue to be.
After the talk to the shooter's family yet?
That's all part of the investigation.
After the event, there were a lot of really angry
What a
people.
question is that?
Are you monitoring? Have there been any threats in response to this? Are you worried? Have there been any specific threats?
That's certainly a concern, and you know, we're monitoring that whole situation. I mentioned that, you know, we're bringing a lot of assets to bear, and so like the FBI utilizing their analysts, we also have the Pennsylvania Criminal Intelligence Center. We will utilize the resources of our intelligence division and the Criminal Intelligence Center to be able to monitor for concerns about any threats, regardless of the side of the issue or the political spectrum. We want to make sure that we try and avoid any further violence.
But no, nothing specific so far.
No, sir.
You're not identifying them by name. Can you say anything about the other folks who were injured or killed? Were they adults, men, male, female, anything else?
They were adults, and they're male.
All 3.
Yes.
Okay, well that's new. A lot of people thought the dead person was a was a woman. I guess it wasn't a woman.
Celebrate, I guess, the election. What are those conversations like, and how do you kind of get through that?
We have trained investigators, and we're partnered hand in hand with the FBI, again, because we've got some federal violations, some state violations, and so our investigators are going out methodically. And we have a large team of investigators that are going out, dividing up these interviews and trying to conduct them as quickly as possible. And then there will be follow-ups. You know, with the FBI asking for people to call in tips, I have no doubt that we will receive a lot of additional information that will also require follow-up. But again, we're working very well together, and it's only a short matter of time until we get through all of those interviews.
How close and cold was it for President Trump?
There were no police hit with bullets.
From your
And-
experience, how close and cold was it for?
I'm not going to speculate or comment on that.
Have any of you talked to the president? Did any of you have any kind of reaction?
No.
Which law enforcement agencies were securing this particular rap outside of the United States Secret Service?
Well, Secret Service always has the lead on securing something like this, but then they work very closely. And I hate to use the word routine, but it is a fairly routine matter for all of our agencies to work jointly with the Secret Service. And it really depends on the venue, on what information is out there, what number of resources are devoted to it, and we work with them to provide whatever is requested by the Secret Service, but they're the lead in that security.
Was there anything about this venue?
So basically, the fuck up is theirs. So no matter what,
You know, I
what
would
is, what's
defer to the
being
Secret Service
said.
to answer that. They would have
Right.
done.
I mean,
Yeah.
they've created the fuck up. Now they should investigate
Yeah.
it. I mean, I don't know if that's like a
Yeah,
sound strategy.
Yeah, they're keeping. I don't know, man. I feel like they realize how bad they screw up, and they're trying to like keep it under wraps and come up with a story. But look, let me keep going with this.
Done the initial assessment.
Was the rooftop part of what was being secured? Was the rooftop, given its proximity?
Good question.
to the event, part of that process?
It's my understanding that was outside of the perimeter.
Oh wow, how convenient.
We're not going to
convenient, yes.
comment on anything about the shooter right now.
agency denied Trump's team extra security.
How can it be outside the perimeter?
Not that I'm aware
I
of.
know.
If Trump had been the nominee already, would he have had additional security for this event? Was
There again, Secret Service has the lead, and I'm not going to comment or speculate on what may or may not be provided at any given point, depending on their status as
Yes, they did.
as a candidate. What I will tell you
Yeah,
is
they
that, in my experience, the Secret Service does an excellent job of maintaining security on protectees. They're very cautious. They don't hesitate to ask for resources, and candidly, we don't hesitate to supply those resources.
You're asking for the public's help. Can you elaborate and be more specific about what you really like to see from the public? Is videos, photos, personal accounts?
I think the videos and photos would be very helpful, and I think that once the shooter is identified, anyone that has specific information on that shooter, that would be very helpful as well to help us assess motive. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we are absolutely not taking for granted that this was a lone wolf attack, and so we would be looking for any additional information that might point us toward anybody else that may have had a hand in this.
Help us do our jobs.
What is the main focus of the
Yes.
investigation? What's the most important thing for you right now, a few hours?
Well, there's not any one single focus. I mean, certainly
What kind of
the
question is
immediate
that?
focus was life safety, getting the former president out of there and to care, getting care to the other victims, and trying to secure the scene as quickly as possible. It shifted then from a life safety priority to then an investigative priority. And so I guess if I had to point to where we are right now, the single greatest priority would be to identifying a motive and whether there was anyone else involved.
We're just beginning the political season. Are you guys concerned with all of these rallies that happen and how they're set up? Is this going to change maybe the venues?
Again, I would refer you to the Secret Service in terms of what they work out with the campaigns.
And they will not tell you
We will
anything.
continue to supply
If Pontius Pilate had a fucking modern clone, it would be this guy. Bro, he is
would be
washing
probably
himself
this guy.
of everything. Jesus.
Pontius is cleaning his hands, is washing his
real,
hands
coach.
right now. I
So
feel this is
hard.
surreal, dude. We're assisting at something surreal. And again, like we are history researchers, man. Let's talk shop. I mean, we know exactly that in the past they always presented us this narrative. Again, it could be true. I'm not saying I know anything or
Yeah.
oh, I'm just Alex Jones here. But it's just this is what my books tell me, right? Every time we look into the past, they will tell you, there's this single loony cartoon guy that is completely went crazy, and that's why he climbed on his roof and hid himself and made sure the Secret Service was not spotting him and acted completely smart and did everything right, but then he's not right in his mind. So to me, these two things, like, having this meticulous, planned out, professionally executed event, but not being right in your mind and being crazy and being a zealot, right? Yeah. So you were bringing up the, of course, the Jewish wars against the Romans. And there is a difference there. If you're a zealot and you're on a battlefield and people attack you and you're surrounded by your collective and then you try to defend your home, I believe that you can grow more force than you actually have in your body. You can, you can outgrow the situation and become like the zealot in this momentum because you have that blood rush, you have that berserk type of rush going on. But this is something else. This is not blood rush. This is not berserk. This is not going crazy. This is not fanatics or anything. It's like climbing a roof, checking the wind, positioning your weapon, handling it professionally, doing all this stuff, this meticulous planning, great setup, strategically kind of making sure that the day is right, the sun, all this stuff. That doesn't play right in my mind. In my opinion, it doesn't play right with the usual narrative. Oh, yeah, this is a completely extremist, crazy, lunatic, Ku Klux Klan, whatever type of guy who did this, right? It's like you have to decide whether you have a crazy guy that acts out abruptly in an eruptive way on the moment. Okay, then maybe I can get this narrative. But someone who does something like this, like all this planning, all this weapon handling, all this stuff that requires a lot of calm, a lot of confidence, a lot of precisiveness, execution, all this stuff. So it doesn't match the crazy fanatic, in my opinion. I don't know what you think.
Oh no, I feel after watching this, considering now, I may have to detract that because it says here 20-year-old male from the local Butler County area. So, for all I know, I mean, again, we don't have any information regarding the suspect because they won't release it. So, from what I can surmise, so it makes it even harder for us to come up with a good hypothesis for this. But, I mean, yeah, I feel like after reading that part, I probably would retract the zealot part because I don't know. You're right. All that preparation, it was just. At first, I thought it was a zealot because sometimes if you're very extremist, that can create like this desire of extreme calm. I mean, basically, it's like it's like righteous fury, but like very contained to the point where it gives the individual in question this ridiculous calm in order to be able to execute their plan. So that's why I always said this guy could have been a zealot of some type. Now, probably not religious of a sort. Hell, maybe not even political. Maybe it's like an ideological one. I really don't know. But originally, that's why I thought it could be a zealot. But for all we know, this could be somebody who's like very. I mean, we live in a time where we got some people that are very depressed, and a lot of them have guns, and they do some wild shit. I'm not saying this is the case. If it is the case, then Jesus, things are pretty bad. But whether whether it's that or your idea or mine, it still doesn't change the fact that this man just became the instrument for what is going to be an ideological tide, a shift in the ideological tide of the entire country. Like, look, I'm sorry to tell you this, but if you have like a very popular leader, and also the convenience behind this is just too stinking perfect. Like, we're talking domino effect, critical success sort of strategy that's been happening here. Look, he goes on the presidential debate, completely destroys Biden in it. Okay, like we're a total obliteration. Calmly. Right. Total obliteration with calm. Then Biden gets made fun of. He says some insane stuff on both live TV, at events, and at interviews. People keep making fun of him. Then you got the crazy people going after, people like us on YouTube because we don't agree with the shit that those very same people in higher political echelons are trying to dump on our TV shows and movies. And then that bleeds over into the political arena because, unfortunately, it seems in the U.S. at least, politics has decided to creep into every single facet of everything that we enjoy. I'm not saying it's when I mean everything, I mean like most of the stuff that people consume on a daily basis. Not exactly every single little thing, but it's everywhere in a small or big shape.
Do you feel like that this is the logical culmination point of what has happened roughly in the last 3 to 4 years, that we have like an increasing fire going on, you know, in between these two camps, that they are kind of, you know,
Not the last
ramping
4
up
years.
also the aggressive.
No, not the
where
last
do you
4
set
years.
that time range? Where do you feel like it has gone completely overboard?
I feel like when things started, I feel like the starting point when things were beginning to take shape was after 2012. I'll explain why, because a lot of people don't seem to understand this. When there was that whole craze occurring during that year that people thought the world was going to end because the Mayan calendar said so, and people were like,
You remember that? That was incredible.
No. Yeah. I was a kid at the time. Of course, I was scared, shitless, you know. So of course, nothing happened the next day, and so they do. Oh, on X. All right. Well, let me look it up, Emily,
All right,
and
check
let's
it out.
see.
Share it.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. All right. I'll look it up. Yellow
What do you
Flash was
mean,
getting. What do you mean,
Pat?
Brett? Yeah. Yeah. Please tell us. I want to know.
Was getting catty? Was getting catty? Or was getting,
Catty?
Yeah, please tell us what you mean.
All right. Oh man, I'm trying to find. Okay, let me type in identity. Identity.
Is this so close? And he wasn't. It feels weird.
Yeah. Well.
So
again,
here we
it's
have Emily.
Oh. Okay, Thomas Matthew Crooks. All right.
All right. Oh, wow.
Okay, I'll look it up.
Right. Thomas Matthew Crooks, IDs as the suspect who shot it down. Right. Well, Crooks was 20 years old from Bethel Park. How interesting.
Well, see that matches the description that Fox News gave. Oh, I see. That sounds about right.
Ah, yeah.
But
That sounds about right for
put it this
sure.
way. Okay, so here I got okay, let me share this link, or the window, I should say. All right. So this is the good old, but this is the actual website that I was talking that mentions that. Thank you for the name, by the way. It made it easier to find this. This is from the New York Post, by the way. I'm not going to show the video because that would be a little bit too graphic. Oh, shit. Well, fuck.
Right.
All right. Well, all right. So this part right here.
No, let's not get too graphic. We're an educational channel somehow.
Yes, I know. But, you know. So this says the gunman who attempted to assassinate former President Donald Trump Saturday was identified as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks, sources told the Post. So somehow the New York Post got access to people that knew the guy, probably mortuary, so on and so forth. They're very quick, usually, on getting sources for shit. Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. There you go. So Fox News was on the money, at least from what the sources were told. Squeezed off shots, one which grazed Trump in the ear at an outdoor rally in Butler, just outside of Pittsburgh. Sources say Crooks was planted on a roof of a manufacturing plant more than 130 yards away from the stage at Butler Farm Showgrounds, which coincides with the description that the tweet that the man left, or that we talked about earlier, said. You know how he said he did his own calculations and it looks like it was like 150.1 yards. So again, lots of correlations. Allow me to stop my screen sharing for a moment so I can avoid getting completely nuked. There we go. Now let me showcase the window again. All right. So here we have the good old.
Let's try it again.
Can you see it? I
think they're messing with our stream.
Oh, there we go. I don't even know. I don't know what to believe in anymore, Coach. It's just I'm just looking at random shit at this point. But yeah. So what ended up occurring here?
Yeah, you get
is that it?
for sure. Yeah.
Is that it? Are you serious? Wait, New York Post. Are you fucking serious? My God. There's no more information. Great.
Yes. They need to put body armor on him, of course. Even if he says no, his secret service detail is protective. Dragon. They will put armor on him whether he likes it or not, right? So at least like a vest he will always have on when he's at the public. We lost Dragon. for a second. No, he's coming back though. He's a very reliable, very
My bad. I
resilient
accidentally
dragon.
pressed the wrong button. I just had a boomer moment. I am so sorry. I was trying to click stop
I'm
sharing,
slightly
but my mouse
freaking out
went.
about all these interferences today. I have like the I don't know.
No, that one was me definitely, but the
yeah,
rest
he
I
was
don't know.
extremely
But
lucky, or okay.
what
So,
the fuck? Oh my
yeah, show
god,
us,
dude!
Dragon.
Oh no, like
happened?
that website part. I was gonna, I was gonna get out of it because like they didn't give any more information. And what is going on here, dude? What, guys? Please stop
That's
with the
crazy.
whole like. Could you guys stop with
crazy.
the and with the Italian YouTuber dude? Like, it's not him, for fuck's sake. It's not him.
Hey, Galaxy Stranger, it was divine
Hey.
intervention for sure. I feel like somebody
Definitely.
kind of, maybe just Quicksilver. He just pushed the bullet aside just for a couple of millimeters, right?
Nah, you're right. It was a miracle. He seriously did not get shot because like even this guy, whoever he was very calm with that shot. Like if you look, there was a still shot that somebody showed where you can see the bullet barely whizzing past the very back of his neck, like barely missing him. And he got very lucky on that second shot too. He really, if the guy had been more calm, collected, or maybe chose a better position with a more highly powered sniper rifle, chances are this would have been a completely different story. It would have been chaos for sure. Like this would have. You guys don't see. I guess you guys would understand this. You know.
Mamma mia.
No, like those of you watching and Coach would probably be able to understand this, but if someone like Trump actually got assassinated, it would literally spark a literal civil war in here. Like people would now maybe not like civil war like how it was in the 1800s in the sense of, armed conflict. I think that would not happen, at least not at first. It would mostly become like this whole ideological movement similar to when Martin Luther King was shot. Okay, it would have literally been the exact same situation, and it would have put the the current government system into such a bad corner that it probably could have led to unarmed unrest. Like this could have, like we're
Yes.
talking. As much as people may not like the Orange Man, we need to understand something. Whether you like him or not, he is an extremely important figure in current day American politics. And here's one thing Americans need to understand, right? And that is, I know you guys always only focus about your politics like as if they're in this little condensed bubble where whatever happens inside of it stays inside of it. But in actuality, the rest of the world is watching, twitching their fingers and hoping and praying that nothing goes wrong. Because if something goes wrong, it creates this gigantic ripple effect that reverberates to them and then also to their adversaries. Okay? And a lot of countries, both enemies and allies, desperately depend on the American economy system to function properly, because if it does not, everything crashes, because a lot of major countries, their basis for currency exchange are based off of the standard of the US dollar. If the US dollar goes down severely because a presidential candidate got assassinated and social unrest starts, then that you're just giving opportunities for enemies of the US like China and Russia to go ahead and try out their new currency plan. But even then, their currency plan wouldn't work with anyone except their own side. And it would create a very big worldwide unrest. And look, you're right, Brett. Look, Brett, let me be honest with you. And then I'll stop talking because I do want to hear your opinion on this, Coach. But with this comment about China moving into Taiwan and such, I'm quite sure, Brett, that they've tried many, many times to do this. But the thing is, they have so many other countries surrounding them that even if they did, it would be a catastrophe for them because they're simply surrounded. But I would say if, say, a U.S. presidential candidate, especially the one that's been giving them hell, that gave them hell when he was in office, goes down, yeah, it could embolden them to do something insane, just like with Russia, okay? We got to understand, Russia and China always take advantage of the situation when they realize that, and when I mean Russia and China, I don't mean the people, I mean the government systems themselves. What? Because, what would it take to destroy a currency? That you would have to make it lose its something like this, or if you wanted a great example of it, that happened almost 100 years ago. Actually, no, probably 100 years ago by now. Look at the end of World War I. But Germany was forced to pay reparations for all the damage that they did during the war, and as a result, the German currency became so valueless that it had more value being used as toilet paper or accelerant to start a fire. And that led to a country that was in such economic ruin for so many decades, or not decades, but so many years, that it turned people like Mustache Man, who, believe it or not, just like Melkor, was actually a humble, kind artist who just wanted to realize his dream with art. But unfortunately, because of the shitty environment that he ended up growing in and being exposed to, he became the victim of very bad ideology, which turned him into a monster that brought more death and ruin than the previous iteration. So if you ever wonder what the destruction of a currency can lead to, there's a good example. Now imagine current day where everything is online.
Now this is,
it would be worse.
Right.
Go for it.
I think you said a couple of brilliant things there that are really valuable. I just want to, you know me, it's like the way I think. I always,
I know you.
Try to kind of search for roots. That sounds pretty intimate.
No, not that kind.
You know what I mean? It's like, no. We don't go there, guys. Don't worry. We share a lot of common interests. This is not one of them. Don't worry. No, but the thing is this. To me, this, of course, there are no coincidences. We know that, Dragon, right? Let's not play around here. This is a billionaire, one of the most powerful people in the world, one of the most hated right now by many opposers that also have the means, the power to execute something like this, theoretically, sure, absolutely. Even though, again, I wouldn't think that an opponent would be so stupid to do anything like that, because he should know, he must know, just by looking into the past. If you create a murderer, if you create a martyr, then you create a legend, a symbol, something that would stand for eternity. So you don't want the true representative of the opposing party to be glorified for the next 200 years. This is not something that you would be going out for, right? So in my opinion, this is the only one who truly profits from this, right? Is ironic and bizarre and paradox as it sounds. It's this guy here, right? Immediately stands up. We have these incredible pictures that will, go, travel all over the globe. He puts up his fist. We see the inverted American flag in the background, and it looks like the fucking Washington Memorial. And it's a truly iconic, legendary picture that was created. Truly, like, he's handling this like a boss, like balls of steel for sure. If this is real, if this is like real, then I mean, much respect to this guy for sure. And like I said, I admire him before, even more so now. So I'm definitely not against him. I'm just speculating on all, because this is what we do here. Because in the end, what we love is not that left wins or right wing wins or that anyone else wins. Is that we win. as a collective, as people, as human beings, that we will, come together eventually and kind of, find peace also with ourselves. We live in so incredible, unprecedented, very privileged times. There's so much cool stuff that we can do. There are many, many missions that we need to kind of accomplish in order to make this living, this life on this planet better. So I feel like the stuff that is happening right now, that we're fragmentizing our intellect, our power, energy, that we're fighting for these little minuscule details. Oh no, you're this, no, you're not that, instead of appreciating life. To me, that's insanity, right? And I don't wish anyone, whether that's Biden or Trump, that stuff like this should happen to them, because it truly shows in what sad times we are. Like, if you have to kind of fall back into violence. But here is this thing, and I know this is kind of a bit of a stretch, but it started when you have people like Will Smith going on stage slapping people, like committing an aggression, which is a crime, right? And he wasn't even halted out of the studio. They didn't even carry him out. They gave him an Oscar afterwards. So whether you deem that slap in order to defend the honor of his wife, like a chevalier type of action, or you deem it to be a criminal act, it's nonetheless, it's not okay to act violently on an open stage where a billion people are watching you. Even if it's just one person watching you, it's not okay to act violently against another fellow human being for saying things, for making jokes, right? And so the moment you to the people, and we can't even underestimate these little things, right? Because someone is watching this and saying, hey, look, Will Smith, right? He's popular, he's slapping someone, nothing happens, right? So I get up, there is someone popular, and I will shoot him. Nothing will happen to me. This is, I think, sometimes lunatics, the reasoning that they create for themselves, right? I'm not saying this was a lunatic or zealot or anything like that, but this is somehow, if the fish at its head starts to stink, then you shouldn't eat the rest of the fish either, right? So what we're seeing now is the result of a weak government, of an unstable government, of unsecure time and everything. And every time we're coming to these elections, something strange happens in the summer, right? Stuff that we can cover, stuff that we can talk about. So whether or not there was a false flag, a staged attack, a real attack, whatever type of attack, it still was an attack. And we're here to witness this. This is history unfolding in front of our eyes. Incredible stuff that we have the privilege to cover and talk about. And so I think we need to take the heat and the hate out and just look at this and say, is this how we want to live as human beings in a society where we shoot presidents, where we scream at each other, where we hate just for the color that we represent? Because what we represent today might change tomorrow. It doesn't really matter, because human beings are controversial and contradictory. And that's the beauty of it, right? Like literally any type of entertainment is created on that premise that there is a contradiction, that there is a coincidence, that there is a misunderstanding, and out of that you will have a plot that kind of develops. What I'm trying to say here, this guy was from Bethel Park, right?
Yeah.
You said Bethel Park?
Yes.
Now, Beth, the word Bethel or Beth, that's a Semitic word, right?
Yes.
So in old Jewish tradition, the letter Beth, which is the second letter technically, but for the Torah, the letter Beth is the first letter. Now, this is no, I know we're just throwing stuff around, right? But just listen to me for like, this is the letter. The letter Beth is the letter of the magician that was handpicked by God, according to Jewish legends. It's the letter that was picked by God to represent everything that happens before and after creation. And they say in Jewish mythology and mysticism, the Bethel or Beth, right? It stands for house, right? It stands for the house of God. And so you can, and it specifically says you can't speculate what happened before creation. You can only witness and attest what happens after that creational act. And so out of all the 22 letters of the Jewish alphabet, of the Hebrew alphabet, this is a very, very special one and stands out because it's the Enoch of letters. It was picked by God and brought up into heavens and chosen as the one letter that represents the magic of the immovable mover. And so we have this event here, and I'm thinking you can't speak about what happened before. You will only witness what happened after the creation. And this is so fitting to what's happening right now. I find it crazy, right? And if you look at the at the sign that is placed on his desk, right, it says 88. Like, can we have a still of his sign? Let me check. Yes. Oh, I want to show you something. This is really funny.
Okay.
Right? And so
Okay,
we can
cool.
go down a little rabbit hole here.
All right.
Just to kind of ignite our senses and our imagination, our fantasy. You know, over here, guys, Dragon
Yeah.
Slayer commentaries and myself, we have to go into that direction. Now,
Okay.
look at the sign, what it says. Text Pennsylvania to 88022. This is exactly what Bethel means. 22. It's the holy letter that was picked out of the 22 letters of the alphabet by God himself to let the audience witness what happens after he created the event. So we can only witness what happened afterwards, but we'll never know what happens before. And what do we have here? The number 88, which is the number of infinity, which is the number of infinite creation. And so that again, like this numerical thing that kind of matches the place where this guy comes from. And of course, Pat, you know, we have Bethlehem, right? The birthplace of Jesus. And it's sort of weird that kind of is connected. And just to say a little thing, because we talked about currencies, right? What do you need to destroy a currency or to weaken a currency long term? You have to create a series of black swan events. Black swan events are the so-called events that could be, you know, defined as staged events or false flag events, right? Where you know what you are inducing, you know what the reaction is going to be, and then you are the one who's proposing the solution to the actual event that you kicked off. So when you think about a currency and you think about the oscillations of a currency, I wonder what this guy's net worth will be tomorrow. I'm 100% sure that this guy is going to be almost like double its worth tomorrow, and everything that he's touching. And if there was like, if there was a right, so money moves a lot of things, business moves a lot of things, faith moves a lot of things, and we have them all concentrated here.
No, yeah, I feel like it's ironic you say 88 as like a holy symbol. Of course, you know, if we're going to go into the number 88, there are other definitions. Like, of course, people say, oh, 88 is also used by like the white nationalists to basically say, you know, the mustache man sort of comment. But the thing is, that was hijacked. So originally for like in Chinese culture, this is the number 8 in general is a lucky number, used to say that this person will have a big and wide future. But I feel like if we're going to go deep into the messaging, if there is any, 88022 is just basically saying that what you're going to see here, what you're going to witness here, it will be heard around the entire world, and it will be transmitted to the point where it will never be forgotten, which is ironic because if you're into the mystical, all right, there you go. See, MAGA coin almost up by 30%. What a surprise. And if you're more into like the, I guess, I would say alternative studies, let's put it that way, there is this thing that Matthias De Stefano said one time, and that is that where America is at is considered to be, in some circles, the mouth of the world, of the planet. And henceforth, anything that happens in the mouth of the world will be heard throughout the rest of the world because of the fact that it is the mouth. What the mouth does is conveys intentions, desires in vocal forms. But in our case, with America at least, America, I would say, conveys the wider issues of the rest of the world, but in like a big broadcast mode with the crazy situations happening. And I think as a result of that, that is why so many people all over the world are so aware of everything that's happening, and hence why they keep up with things happening in America, because you want to know. Because everything that happens in America, believe it or not, it like reverberates back towards the rest of the world like a domino effect. I'm not being like an imperialist or something when I say that. It's just the truth. As someone who lived outside of the U.S. and has traveled outside of the U.S. multiple times, I can tell you there are some countries that heavily depend on America for almost everything. Okay? They literally are vampires for American stuff. Like, they cannot survive without the American system, and if it crashes down, so does all their stability. But again, that's my opinion.
No, absolutely. What you're saying, Pat, I think the monetary system is already destroyed for decades now. They just cover it up. In my opinion, the moment they debased the dollar from gold and attached it to air, because this is what they're doing now, it's just attached to air. The moment that happened, when they switched from gold to, central banks, basically, and mind you, the only two presidents were really insisting and trying to reinstall gold as Federal Reserve, as having $1 packed by one, I don't know if it's an ounce or what it was back in the days, right? But you had like the 1-to-1 reserves covered, right? So that the moment you try to kind of like Lincoln and Kennedy were the only two presidents who were really serious about installing gold as the reserve and having dollars just printed based on the reserve of gold that you have. And, but we know exactly what happened to these both presidents. So I think crypto will take over anyways. It is already taking over, because the fact that crypto tokenizes, it's not just a currency. The fact that you can tokenize any type of asset, whether it's the Mona Lisa, a piece of real estate, or ice cream in Tokyo, and have a fractionalized ownership over that tokenized asset, that is the breakthrough. It's the real world tokenization of assets. And this is what BlackRock is after. That's why they created their own RWA coin, which is Ondo. Ondo Finance is a BlackRock cryptocurrency that will be used in the future to pay for real estate that has been tokenized on their private ledgers.
Yeah,
yes,
no,
in a way, it is free real estate,
is.
and you can buy already. There are websites in the U.S. where you can own fractionalized ownership over real estate, and that is made possible by a blockchain called Algorand. And Algorand basically gives you the access. It's still printed in dollars. The prices are all dollars. You just pay with the cryptocurrency, and that stabilizes the smart contract. And therefore, you have ownership over a piece of that real estate that you can choose, or you can buy more stakes of it. So you literally are buying pixels of a huge tokenized PDF, which represents a certificate for a real world asset.
Yeah, and honestly, like with everything that's going on, it wouldn't surprise me if one day they decide to like get rid of crypto and just make a form of more safe and secure digital currency, aka, I guess if you watch Star Wars, galactic credits, for fuck's sake. It'll be like a way to getting us everything centralized. I mean,
Yes.
look, we laugh about it, but it's going to be a reality sooner than later. It's just,
true.
I mean,
Yeah, it's
how
gonna
the
be
hell
a
do you
reality,
create
for sure.
a unified? Let me be honest. How the hell do you create a unified spacefaring society if literally every single country has multiple different types of currencies with its own different unique exchanges that, depending if you do go or do not go to them, you'll be able to make use of it at any point in time. It's much easier to just dismantle all of that bullshit and create a centralized and convince people, hey, let's use this one currency. And that way it creates this whole idea of unification. But then again, that can lead to a good or bad, but how do we know that? Well, it depends on the people who are in charge. If they're people that are in charge with the majority population's best interest in mind, great. It'll just lead to a more unified human race, which is an eventuality. It's not an if, it's a when. Or you have the other type people, which is the ones we're dealing with now, which will use it for nefarious purposes. That's really what I think regarding that. And I think this rally could be a catalyst for eventually pushing certain policies, because let's be honest, I think Trump will win by a landslide. I don't know if he was aware that this would cause this.
At this
or
point,
if
he has already won.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
No, he's already won. Like, what you have your martyr. No, you have your hero.
won.
Actually, a martyr is powerful, but a hero is
your hero.
It's even more enticing. He's the hero because he could have just dodged it and that's it. No, but he decided to tell the Secret Service to stop, and he put up his fist 3 times in defiance. No surprise there. Number 3. The whole thing. It's it's very, very, very significant. And so
not bad for look at this guy. Look at this guy, man. Look at this guy. Now you got him on fire. Now you've created an unstoppable enemy.
Now the swamp is fucking scared.
So, okay, we discussed the possibility that this is coming out of his camp in order to, win this election 100%, because they're a bit afraid of Kamala. But they're not really afraid of Kamala itself. They're afraid of the constitutional tingle-wingle that they're going to pull off just by declaring Joe Biden unaccessible to rule anymore, and so they have to find like an emergency meeting because there's something else going on around the world, and then they delay the new election, and in the meantime we have like a transitory sort of president, so the vice president steps up kind of to extend for another year or for another 6 months. So these are scenarios that are possible. Why they want to do that? Well, maybe in those 6 months they hope to gain much time or enough time to kind of inject more liquidity into the market, because they need to kind of prevent the crash, right? Because right now, American economy is it's a couple of seconds away from a very, very steep canyon, right? If we fall down there, it's gonna be fucking hard. And so they're going to pull off this black swan to kind of install another president, extend the rule for another 6 months, and kind of inject liquidity in order to gain voters' favor. And then with a bit of luck and a little bit of George Soros digital ballot manipulation, maybe they win the next election. And so Trump is finally out of the context, because by the next 4 years, when he could run again, he would be just too old to be president, right? And so that would be the only thing that I think, okay, this could be a strategy also. Besides, of course, the Looney Tune zealot that does it on his own, right? The other camp kind of fighting for a bit more time, and that desperate event maybe the sort of kind of made these shootings today somehow possible. It's just crazy speculation here, right? We don't want to, it's just thinking out of the hat. Out of the white, red, brown, yellow, blue, all the hats, right? We are not voting here. We're not electing here. We're not selecting here. It's not about politics. It's about analyzing this event and kind of speculating who could be really behind this. Like who is really profiting from this? Again, Antifa. Yes, I see Antifa. I've been in the Antifa when I was a kid. I was protesting with them 1st of May in Germany, in Berlin, Hamburg. You have to throw stones, otherwise you're not a cool guy. Everyone in his youth was at a certain point a communist or sympathizing with the communist idea. Everybody in his young years of being a student was reading, Karl Marx and whatnot. There is this saying: when you're young, it's crazy not to be a communist. When you grow up, it's crazy to still be a communist, right? So you have your time for everything. But to believe that there is one of these left radical guys who really does something so premeditated and meticulous and professional, it's still hard for me to believe. It's not impossible, of course. If the evidence will 100% point to that, I'm more than happy to accept that. I still just keep all my options in my mind open. I guess this is also me. I just read too many screenplays, and some of them were really good, and I've played many acting scenes. So this is something that immediately when I heard and saw this on the internet, I thought about, you know, certain options, like who could this really be? And so to me that remains like really the mystery that needs to be solved, because it's almost like I believe that the guys who are on Epstein's list, they could do something like this in order to kind of deflect attention, because everything we're still waiting for names, we're still waiting for what's happening there. There's so much still to clean up. We still haven't all the names from 2008 and the bank crush, right? So we're still kind of trying to catch up with the past, and we keep adding these black swan events, right? Ukraine and Israel and blah, blah, boom and blah, blah, bam and Hamas. And so we will never get the time to actually clean up our past. We keep adding and adding stuff to our present. So our look for the past will always be obfuscated, and there is no way left than to kind of accept the way the things are and just trying to make it to the next day, right? But this is not a good strategy to lead a country.
No, it isn't. And you know, the trucker rally, yeah, I thought that was a little foolish, but like I get the concept, but unfortunately those kinds of things that don't really do much. I know people, yeah, the freezing of bank accounts is something that I think is more concerning than truckers, because that is more subtle than truckers, you know, stopping food distribution or whatever have you.
That's really evil. Yes.
No, that is because
really
like that, because basically it just shows you that they got power over your money. Let's be honest, guys. Okay, this is the truth of today, and you know I don't want to. As much as I want to keep this going for longer, like my brain is telling me I have to fall asleep or I'll get a headache. But before I do that, I have to say
Sure. No, absolutely, man. I appreciate it already. Oh my God.
We need to understand that with the money that we all have right now, this is a scary thought, but with a shift in terms of how you perceive the world, it actually is quite easily overcome. But these institutions and such, they have complete control over your money. Like all that money you see in your bank account right now, let me tell you something. It's most of it is non-existent, in the sense that if you wanted to withdraw all that money out of the bank on a single day, it would be in cash. It would be next to impossible for people, especially that have over $100,000, because the banks do not have that much money on site, like physical money on site. Especially if hundreds of people or more came in at the same time asking for gigantic withdrawals of that kind, they would not have enough money to do withdrawals. And then people would ask the questions, well, why is that? I have this much money in there. You should be able to give me what I want. It's my money. And then they would say, no, in actuality, it's all digital currency. It is literally currency that is intricately valueless and is only given value because we were able to fool you, okay, into thinking that it has value. Hence, we were able to give it value. It's like a puppet show, you know. They are able to trick you into thinking that the play you're watching is real, but it's not. It's all a farce, and at any point, they can easily wipe all your bank accounts or freeze them, like Brett said. And I think the shift of mind that we all need to come across is that, okay, if it happens, so what? Yes, things are going to be rougher, things might be complicated, but there is a way out. You could choose if you wanted to, because I think every human being is capable of doing so, but it's a matter of willpower to see it through. But if such a thing happened, you could literally just go to the woods, go to a decent wooded area that's near a river, cut down some trees, use your mind for more than the mundane stuff you just do by instinct, and build yourself a shelter, or get your own food by foraging it. Most human beings these days are way too codependent on systems that are designed to keep them down. Now, I'm not saying go out there and be, freaking an outdoorsman or a survivalist. Okay, I know that's not everyone's path, and that's fine. But what I'm trying to get across here is that in the most extreme of cases, okay, where you lose everything that the system gave you to begin with, you can literally overcome that. And you know what will happen? You know what's the craziest part about that same system that just screwed you over? They would have absolutely no power over you, because then they'll be like, oh, well, you have to abide by our laws. Why don't you have this permit? Why don't you have this thing? Well, no need to explain. You could either try to play their game, or you could try to simply move to another patch of woods and start all over again, to the point where they can't even find your ass. Again, this is an extreme case I'm showcasing, but the point still remains the same. You do not have to follow the rules, but at the same time, you don't have to be a violent zealot to go on about achieving that. You can do it in a very peaceful manner where nobody gets hurt. It is possible. It's just what people call the hard road, or the straight and narrow road in Christianity, in other Abrahamic religions. It's that hard path to follow that's winding. Nobody else has traveled it before. It's just you. And for now, you're the trailblazer. So be the trailblazer if that's what you want to do. What I'm trying to tell people is, don't fucking worry too much about all the stuff that's happening right now. Okay, yes, it's messed up. It's insane. But at the end of the day, what needs to happen will happen, whether we like it or not. And the only thing we can do, which is what human beings are very, very good at, is to adapt. Okay? And if we adapt to the situation, while the rest of the majority can't, because they've been taught to not use their God-given talent of adaptation, then all we're going to end up, then you know what's going to happen? You're going to survive. They won't. At least not when shit hits the fan for real. They'll come looking for you for help because you decided to adapt. All right? So, again, don't worry about things too much. Only focus on what you can do for yourself and for your family, if you have one. And just live your life, goddammit, okay? Yes, I know politics and other things are very important, but at the end of the day, when you leave this earth, politics don't fucking matter. All that matters is the connections you made along the way.
Absolutely.
So just focus on
man.
that.
That was
that's just my
beautiful,
opinion.
man. Beautiful. You said something spot on. I don't care if this was someone on the left, on the right, on the extreme, on the middle. It doesn't matter. It's sad when human beings don't realize that violence, killing someone, overstepping that law of nature, right? That is instilled in all of us through our moral compass. If you actively decide to suppress your moral compass, to suppress your spinal cord of values, to destroy, that column inside of you, to disregard it, to neglect it, to silence your inner judge, because we all have inner judges, and to open up the floodgates to your shadow self and let that take control over your conscious and over your active actions, and then of course you are a lost being. And so I'm sorry for you, because you have left the realm of God, of creation, of universal truth, right? You have left the realm of that unified force field we're all embedded in. You have left the realm of conducing and conducting and receiving and transmitting energy. Now you are the one, you felt like, you are one of the three fates of the Greek mythology, Atropasis, right? Now you're severing the threat. Now you're putting yourself over the judgment of God.
Coach?
That is
Oh, there you go.
always a defeat for humanity. That is always a defeat for all of us. Yes.
No, like for a moment your audio like cut out or timed out, so I was worried for a second. Continue, sir.
No, it's all good. Did you hear me? No. Hey,
Yeah, no, I
nobody's
can
here.
hear you. You're good
see?
now.
Speaking of the ghosts.
Hey, nobody. Oh man.
So what?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's crazy today. So every time we're leaving that realm, we're leaving humanity, and so it's always a defeat for all of us. I don't care how you want to spin this now and what the narrative in the news is going to be for the next week. It's going to be absolutely crazy. We're going to witness an absolute shit show. This definitely means the election campaign is now in its full rampage juggernaut mode, right? This is now full on, and it means now we're increasing the heat. We're increasing the intensity that will get us to the climax on November. People want to really look at us. I mean, the United States, we are a drama queen. We're always creating these shows. We're always creating these incredible scenarios. We are capable of all these things. And this is like, I received a message from one of our viewers, is also in the chat right now, who I have the incredible privilege also to work with. So he's a friend and also a student and a client and everything else. And he said, hey, welcome to America. Are you regretting the choice of coming over from Europe? Not a bit, not even the tiniest second. I knew exactly what I was getting myself into. And this is the nation that I chose to live for the rest of my life, where I want to give birth to my children and all that. And when I create a fantastic family because of that, because of the craziness, because of all the possibilities that are here. Because like you said something amazing, Dragon, like many times, right? It's not unusual. You are an amazing thing sayer, right? Not only a dragon slayer, you're an amazing thing sayer. And you said that America is the mouth. And it's true. It's Moloch. It's Moloch that, eats and spits out, right? We are the mouth. What we say, the whole world repeats and parrots. In a way, it is true, right? What we invent, everybody else will use. Where we lead, everyone will follow. And yes, sometimes we can be also wrong. It's about that. Acknowledging that we're also capable of making damn mistakes, right? And not setting ourselves on a pedestal and believing that we're unfailable. We're not. We are as stupid sometimes, as retarded, as silly as anyone else. Maybe the difference here is that we will always flip the coin on the next opportunity, that we'll always search for the next gold mine, that we never believe that the Dutchman gold is lost forever. And that is what's so remarkable about this field of dreams called the United States. And I love to be here. And this is exactly the reason why we're covering this news. And what you said is also true. Is like, this is what we're in here, the shot after the Silver Squeeze was announced. Yeah, I know, it's crazy, and crypto is pumping right now. If you go to a crypto exchange right now, it's not hard pumping, but it's pumping. So this definitely was, by the markets, it was welcome as something positive. That he stood up, he clenched his fist and he said, "We're gonna fight." This was universally seen as something positive, as a reaction to the markets. So it is very relevant that we stay on the light side of things, that we come back to our humanity, that we believe in a good fight, that we're always ready to admit a mistake, but that we're not tracking back from something that is obviously nefarious, right? That we stand our ground no matter what. And therefore, I'm really happy we did this emergency stream with you, man. Truly unconventional for our usual times and all that. But it was kind of, we felt like after Saturday night we weren't tired enough. Actually, I forced him to come on the show. I'm sorry.
I won't lie. I'm like running on fumes. Like, they get like a little boost. I won't lie, but like, Jesus, I need sleep. That's a thing.
Sure. Guys,
but no, I
thanks
have
so
to say,
much
it's been
for
good.
coming out to. Absolutely. Right. So we're gonna have crazy shows next week, I'm sure. Please stop by the channel, subscribe to Dragon Slayer commentaries, amazing channel. He's great reviews. He's the king of skits and edits and little memes that he inserts in his funny video reviews, commentaries that are really hilarious. He has an an impeccable sense of humor. He's a great impersonator. He does a lot of great, funny voices. You guys haven't really kind of explored his full talent yet. Make sure to check out all of his videos and kind of, get all the Easter eggs, all the details, and all the madness also that he inserts from Saturday Night Hypnosis. And definitely join us there every Saturday night. And next Saturday, we have our 100th episode. We were part of the OG crew that started this whole thing.
Yes.
100 weeks ago. How crazy. 100 weeks ago we did this for the first time. Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate
No
your
problem.
humanity, your honesty as well, and as your thoughts. So I wish you a great night. I wish you in the chat also a great night, Pat. Nobody, Johnny, Dexiner Zero, all the people, Emily, Dismantling Delusionals, Galaxy Stranger, Eben, thank you so much, everybody, for coming out. Subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. Usually we're not covering politics or breaking news events, but this was something historical, and I also wanted to kind of highlight a little bit the symbology behind it. We definitely going to cover this in one of our 3 sets episode. Once we have more information and I did my usual rabbit hole digging, we definitely will uncover more of, the dark strings that were also pulled behind the scenes during this events. If there, we will talk about them as well. Otherwise, I just wish you a fantastic night. Stand up tomorrow. Enjoy the privilege of being alive. Thanks, everyone.